About Iran and the US, I have explained, David, in my book, Iran and the US, every details about many efforts, attempt Iran and the US they have made during last 35 years for rapprochement, but all have failed. This is for the first time at the highest level. A serious, genuine negotiation took place and was successful. And everyone knows, Lausanne Agreement, we owe more to the efforts of Iran and the US because they negotiated more than everybody. I think this could be the first step toward further cooperation between Iran and the US on many other disputed issues, which we have a long list of disputed issues between Iran and the US. If it was supposed to fail, definitely direct talks between Iran and the US would have failed, and nobody would be able to talk about further cooperation. When we look at the region, everybody now has recognized the threat number one to Middle East, to the region, to international community, and to the world is ISIS. Not only ISIS, the extremism, terrorism coming out of the radical Salafist Wahhabist ideology of Sunnis, because we have different versions of ISIS. We have Al-Qaeda, we have Jabhat al-Nusra, we have Boko Haram, we have many different versions, but they are all coming from one school of thought. The roots are the same. Iran and the US, they are in the same boat. This is a major threat to Iran. This is a major threat to the US, to Europe, to world powers, to region, and even the US allies in the region. Iran and the US, they have been cooperating, fighting ISIS during last year indirectly. The US has been leading the airstrike against ISIS, and the Iranians, they have been leading the ground forces against ISIS, but there has not been direct negotiation, cooperation, how to fight ISIS or contain ISIS regionally. When we go to Iraq, Iran and the US, they have the same interests. Stability, peace in Iraq is in the interest of Iran and the US both. That's why they have been supporting the same government in Baghdad for over 10 years. The same is in Afghanistan. After the collapse of Taliban, Iranians, Americans, they have the same interest in Afghanistan. From the day one, I was against limiting the direct talks to nuclear issue. I believe Iran and the US should have a broad dialogue on every issue, whether disputed issues or commonalities. But Tehran and Washington, whether we like it or not, they decided first to try nuclear. Okay, now there is a success. This can be a beginning of a broader dialogue, a regional dialogue between Iran and the US, Iran and Europe, Iran and world powers to manage the real crisis in the Middle East. Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Afghanistan. Unfortunately, we have a lot of crises which looks unmanageable, except if there is a regional cooperation and international cooperation. And I believe this could open the door for such a cooperation between Iran and the US.